The Mercedes struggle with the W14. There's a lot of rumours around the change of concept by Mercedes. The Imola GP should have been the time for the first upgrade of the current design. After the Bahrain GP, the word was suddenly a change in concept would be introduced during the Silverstone GP. This meant the Imola upgrade would be mainly postponed. Now the word is a new front suspension, new sidepods and a new floor at Imola. Unfortunately, due to excessive rainfall in the region Emilia-Romagna, the race was cancelled. Our thoughts go to the victims and the ones left behind. I'm Wimbo. This video is written by my engineer friend Henk or Mel. Please leave a like. The messages out of Mercedes were at best confusing, as they have been for a long time. A little timeline. At the start of the 2022 season, after the Bahrain GP, it was claimed by Mercedes they had to run the car below its designed ride height to create a somewhat decent amount of downforce. Unfortunately, they entered with the lowering of the car the porpoising area. The porpoising and the extra amount of rear wing they had to put on the car made it unpredictable and slow. This didn't really make sense. Suddenly, the media started spreading the news the Mercedes was running above its designed ride height and therefore its rear suspension geometry wasn't suited for its actual ride height. However, the Mercedes didn't ride too high at all. Everyone could see it was almost running below the track. The suspension design indeed didn't suit the actual ride height. The car was running lower than designed. In Baku, a bumpy street track, Mercedes set up their car so low and stiff, the drivers were struggling to get out of the cars in front of the cameras after the GP. This of course did raise the question of drivers' long-term health regarding the porpoising phenomenon. Mercedes pushed for active suspension by the pledge of George Russell, also chairman of the GDPA. The FIA decided in all their wisdom to listen to Mercedes and make some rule changes mid-season regarding the maximum allowable vertical oscillating G-forces and tighter regulations on wear on skid blocks and the plank. This regulation did particularly hit hard at Ferrari, but also on Mercedes. For the upcoming season, it was decided to raise the floor edge with 15 mm and raise the diffuser throat also. Before the start of the 2023 season, the media and Mercedes itself were loudly presenting high hopes for the upcoming season. Mercedes did claim they had solved the porpoising issue, and yes, the porpoising was gone. Unfortunately for Mercedes, the FIA had solved the problem for them, and regarding their own releases, they still didn't understand the real issue. The more voluminous sidepods were a step forward, but not enough. The car is still running as low as is legally permitted, is still draggy, and still has the tendency to porpoise. The forward seating position that Hamilton is complaining about is only 10 cm further forward than the Red Bull has. On a wheelbase of about 3 meters, those 10 cm are neglectable. The new front suspension is about the internal parts. To build an anti-dive into it, Mercedes needs a new chassis. To shift from a push rod to a pull rod suspension, Mercedes needs a new chassis. To shift in the rear from a pull rod suspension to a push rod suspension, Mercedes needs a new gearbox casing. A new chassis and a new gearbox casing are both mandatory crash tested. The funding to do so lacks in the cost cap era. My trust in a redesigned W14 is not that high. Maybe in Monaco we'll see what's true or not. What are your thoughts on the promised upgrades? Let me know in the comments what you think of those technical videos written by Henk. Subscribe. Take care now. Doei doei.